Welcome to the September meeting of the Mycological Association of Washington, D.C. I'm Tom McCoy. I'm currently serving as president of the club, and it's so exciting to have an in-person meeting. Thank you for coming out today. My God. Yes. So we got a full program for you today. And I'm very excited to see some faces that I only knew the names to before, and as well as some other old friends. So we'll get moving along now.
Down.
Up, down. There we go. Okay, so for tonight's program, I'm going to get the show started, talking about the club news, events, and fungi in the news. Then Matt's going to come up here and give us a Sequinota recap. Anybody in the crowd attend Sequinota? I see a couple people. Man, oh man, if you have not yet been to Sequinota, mark off Labor Day weekend on your calendar for next year. It is absolutely just the best time. You go hang out with a bunch of other nature-loving nerds and geek out over mushrooms for like 5 straight days up in the very tranquil, scenic part of the Laurel Highlands of South Central, Southwestern Pennsylvania. And then our vice president and our secretary, April Thompson and Alan Perper, they're going to give a quick overview of some of the money we've been giving away, grant awardees, and the mushroom fair. And then I have another thing that I wanted to touch on. That's why we've got a few of past luminaries with the club in attendance today. I have another short presentation I want to talk about. It's called Bowling Alone. You'll just have to stay tuned to figure out what that means. And then we'll have a short film. It's called Flora, Fauna, and Funga with the great Juliana Furci. She is a professional mycologist who works out of the country of Chile. And then we'll have short intermission, and then we'll get into what I am greatly looking forward to, our feature presentation with our guest speaker, and she's going to be telling us all about fungal pigments. And okay, so let's move on to the next screen. So recent and upcoming club events. First off, you're going to hear a lot more about this in just a minute. Sequinota 25, I put a lot of exclamation points behind that, even though the fungi didn't quite cooperate as much as we would have liked them to. We had an awesome time again this year. And then last weekend, I organized an outing to Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Kennett Square is a little bit famous in the mushroom world because it is the self-proclaimed capital of mushrooms. And that's because anytime you go to the grocery store, it's almost a certainty that the mushrooms that you're buying there, especially the button mushrooms, are from Kennett Square. So they claim that they are the mushroom capital of the world, but I feel that within a few short years, we will have to rename Mount Rainier Nature Center as the mushroom capital of the world. We
Music to my ears.
And a little bit later in September, past president Elizabeth Hargraves, she has a new game coming out, and we're going to have a game night right here at Mount Rainier. And then Sarah Nella, do you want to tell? You have the next 2 events on there, a foray and a night hike.
Yes.
Do you have anything you'd like to tell us about those?
Sure. So I'm going to do so off camera, but we already know that the mic picks me up. So thank you. First of all, welcome to Mount Rainier Nature Center. I am your facility director here at the center. And this is, like Tom was saying, the mycological hub of the DC area. So welcome. We have our illustrious past president with an Undergrove game night this Thursday. Thank you very much. This is why you get people. They take care of you. Thank you. So after that, we also have a hike for non-drivers. So if you got here via a ride or wherever, Say no more. We have organized a hike on a Saturday, September 20th, where you can come here and we'll take our bus and take you to the Merkel Wildlife Sanctuary, where I will be hosting you around to see what the ecosystem wanna gives us with in terms of mushrooms, mosses, plants, and invertebrates, but definitely mushrooms. So we also have our most popular type of program coming up as well, the night hikes. Yes, it is full. Yes, if you're interested, join the wait list. We monitor it very closely. So as soon as a spot comes available, we make it available for the people on the wait list. It is full, but join the wait list if you have the time. That one is going to be at Cosca Park. And there you will not only meet me, but there's some other amazing naturalists, namely Matt Felpering, who is the Nova Park's roving naturalist, and his specialty is birds. So he interprets for us all the birds and the sounds of the night. We will also have Anna Kahanui, the founder of Capital Nature, and she will be setting up her mothing station. And I will be interpreting the mushrooms and everything that fluoresces in the dark. And yeah, then we have the monthly meeting. Thank you very much. I'll stop talking now.
Thank you, Saranella. Thank you so much. And Saranella's night hikes are incredibly popular and they are very difficult to get in. They sell out very quickly. But I do have a solution for you. We always have a night hike at Sequanota. So come to Sequanota next year and you'll be able to hear the same stuff. And then just to elaborate a little bit more, well, next month at our October meeting, we always get a big crowd for this theme. Richard Jacobs, a former past president of the Western Pennsylvania Mushroom Club, based out of Pittsburgh, is going to be telling us about psilocybin. So stay tuned.
That's on Zoom.
That will
Yes.
be a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
So just to follow up on that, this is one of the things that we're trying to incorporate more, the in-person events. Nothing really replaces person-to-person communications. So we've done 2 or 3 of these over the last year or so, and but we are very optimistic that next year we're going to be able to do 4 of these because we just need to meet in person more often. So more of these to come. Then our vice president is organizing the next 2 events this year. So April, would you like to tell us about what you have planned?
Sure. I can just talk from here. Or take that.
And if you want to be on camera, go to the other side of the table.
Sure, why not?
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. So for those of you who can you hear me? You can hear me either way, I guess. For those of you who were at Sequanota the past couple of times, we had a guest chef who did a whole mushroom banquet. He is actually a member of MAW. His name is Julian Fortu, and he has opened up a restaurant in Brightwood called Poplar. It's seasonal and foraged foods. The entire menu changes every week, which is pretty crazy. But he is going to do a special mushroom themed dinner on October 10th. We've got, I think, 10 spaces left. If you want to be on the invite, basically, it's not going to go out to the whole group just because it's a small restaurant. Just see me and I can forward you the information. You make your own reservations. None of it is going to go through MAW to keep it simple. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We've already got like, I think more than 15 people signed up. So join that if you can. And then, so the fair, October 12th, is going to be really exciting. We have a couple of folks here who are going to be doing demos and things like that, including Felipe, who's going to talk a little later about his work because he was a grant recipient. We're going to have understory demo. We're going to have all of our fabulous foray leaders doing on-site forays. If you saw my goofy rendition of Elise Gray's awesome kids books, she's going to be reading those on site too. So be a lot of fun. Has a lot going on. And we made t-shirts. I have some extras because we're not able to sell them. So we're going to do some raffling, and I'd like to raffle one off today. So I am thinking of an edible mushroom, and this is honor system. Think of an edible mushroom, and then whoever is closest in the letter to that mushroom will win a t-shirt. All right, does everyone have a mushroom in mind? Okay. Bicolor bolete. I should have said it was gonna be a common name. Who's closest to B? Anyone close to B?
I had a B, but I already have shirt.
You do.
I had candy cap.
Candy cap. I think that wins. So you get a t-shirt. And I will probably need a couple of general volunteers if anyone's interested in coming and taking a shift, just like at a welcome table. See me after. You know, back to you, Tom.
I got my own.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving right along, after the mushroom fair, then we will be back here again for the DNA Lab Day. That's in October. We do that pretty much every month. This is something that we started doing the last couple of years. This is a very important part of our conservation-minded work through the club is you know, a big part of the column under that umbrella of conservation is you have to know what you're trying to conserve. You have to have a proper accounting list, and that means that you have to go out and do DNA sequencing. And after that, this is my favorite foray of the year because I, along with my good buddy, Natalie Howe, we host a spooky cemetery lichen walk at Rock Creek Cemetery. Now, I came up with this idea probably 7 or 8 years ago because it used to really bother me that 5 months out of the year, we really weren't taking any walks in nature. And I found out that in Europe, especially in the UK and in Ireland, they were really interested in lichens over there. And they routinely go out to cemeteries to identify the lichens growing on the tombstones. So I got a hold of Natalie, and we went out. We had an awesome time. I couldn't believe how many people showed up. It was like 50 people to come hear us blather on about stuff growing on tombstones. And if any of you have been on my walks before, you often hear all kinds of different things about nature. I'm really into the visual arts, so I explain some of the funerary symbolism that you see there and the art history. And I got a degree in geology from way back. So we talk about, you know, the different stones that the tombstones are made out of. We always have a great time. So if you've never been, put that on your schedule. Then and just to follow up on lichens, that Elise Gray, she is the author and proud member of this book, a proud member of MAW DC, and she just wrote a children's book on lichens. And she gave credit to Natalie and myself for getting her into lichens in the end of it, which I just loved. I got a little, I don't know, emotional about that. And I happen to notice that Elise has also written a children's book on slime molds, which I also adore. And if she writes another book on tardigrades, then that's going to be 3 for 3. That's like my 3 favorite things in nature. In November, this is something I've been doing for a number of years now, is I run a photo contest for the club. And to call it a contest is really a loose application of that definition of that word, because everybody wins in my contest. If you send me photos, I will put together a calendar of the 12 best photos, and then everybody gets a copy of that. And then the 3 best in show will also get something else with the photos incorporated into them. And the best in show will get their photo made into a jigsaw puzzle that you will have to see at Sequinota 26. Okay, so some save the dates. Coming up this upcoming weekend, what I consider to be our sister club, the very large Mushroom Club in Western Pennsylvania. They will be hosting their annual event. It is called the Gary Linkoff Foray, and their special guest mycologist this year is Britt Bunyard. We had Britt Bunyard as our guest mycologist at Sequinota a couple years ago, and you can do no better. He's outstanding. He is also the editor, I believe, owner of Fungi Magazine. And his last two editions I have up on here, and I think they're the 2 best that he's ever done. One's on preservation and the other one's on conservation. And those are 2 themes that are very near and dear to my heart. I also put that photo up here for another reason, because on the cover is Ophiocordyceps sinensis, Yartsagumbo. So this is a cordyceps type of fungus that parasitizes the ghost moth. You find this in those high altitude plateaus in Nepal, and where it has a long history as part of the folk medicine there. And but yeah, it doesn't cost you anything to look at it. But if you were to purchase a prime example of it like that, it will cost you between $50,000 and $60,000 a pound. The other reason why I stuck it up there is because in a few slides from now, you're going to see somebody at Sequinota who may have some sort of likeness to that fungi. So stay tuned in a few slides. We have a talent competition there, and somebody is really great at making costumes. For this other upcoming event, this upcoming weekend, the Northeast Mycological Federation is hosting their annual foray in beautiful Ithaca, New York. The theme of that is women in mycology. If you've never been to a nymph foray, they're very similar to a NAMA foray. Several hundred people, loads and loads of mycological talent. Somebody at one of these forays can put a name on no matter what obscure thing that you find out in the woods. And this is much further down the road, but I was very excited to find out that NEMF next year is going to be hosting their foray at Mount Alto, Pennsylvania. And even though you say Pennsylvania, people in Washington, D.C. thinks that's on the other side of the world. It's not. It's an hour and a half away. You just drive due north, go right across the border. Michaud State Forest is right next to it. Mount Alto is a wonderful facility. It is one of Penn State's branch campuses. Unfortunately, Penn State has just decided to close 7 branch campuses, and this is one of them. So this is kind of their swan song. There'll be several hundred people there. And the other nice thing about this campus is when you get tired of looking at mushrooms, it's one of the more beautiful campuses you'll ever visit because it was Penn State School of Forestry. So you can walk around there and get an education in trees as well as mushrooms. And just one last plug for Sequinota, Labor Day 2026, many more exclamation points. So at this point, hand it over to Matt. He's going to give us a recap on what happened at Camp Sequinota.
Just can't get off Sequinota.
We cannot.
All right, I'm Matt Cohen. I am the acting treasurer, and I am the treasurer. I act like I'm a treasurer.
Okay, acting.
Yeah. I'll move over into the screen more.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I've been organizing Sequinota the last few years, so I'm gonna try to make this quick and just do a lot of pictures to show what it is like at Sequinota. I know a lot of you have been there, but we want you to come back again, and we want folks who haven't been there to come and join in on the fun. And you can see our secretary down hidden there.
Oh,
He's right back there. There's the Where's Waldo. There's Alan there. That's the beautiful setting, the lush woods of Sequanota right on the campus. And there is Lita welcoming you all to come to Sequanota. Next slide. I don't have the controller. All
oh.
right. And we might see some other people in here. So we do lots of forays. I don't know. We had like at least 8 forays, I think. And this is out to the bog. That's a very popular one. There's a lot more pictures of people than mushrooms in these pictures, but that's the bog there. And you can move on to the next. This is a foray that I led, and it was a pretty dry year, but you'll notice this is going to be a theme of the pictures. This is full of chicken of the woods. There was lots of chicken of the woods this year. So we gathered lots of that and ate lots of that. And folks coming back after what I thought would be not very much mushrooms out there, but we managed to squeeze them out of the ground. Next. Some more pictures. Beautiful land. This is your this is your brain on mushrooms in the bottom right corner. So some cauliflowers. And there's a few of our pictures of the chicken of the woods. So I think everyone had plenty of chicken of the woods who wanted to at Sequanota.
It's a gorgeous collage.
Thank you. I'm inspired by your graphic design. So besides all the fun, there's also some seriousness going on. And we have folks who are working hard on identification, Mitch and Saranella and Tom and probably some other folks here. Jared, I think, probably was pitching in there this year. So we managed to get 227 species so far documented on iNaturalist, and more is to come. You had 150 DNA samples for the DNA folks. Saranella and Megan were leading that. So out of that, probably get a few more to species. And I think we can move on from there. Next. And we have lots of fun workshops. We'll have new ones next year. Somehow we had Beer 101 got involved with, oh, right, beer is made from yeast, which is a fungus. Yeah. So Alan did a very popular workshop there. There's a nice montage of all the beer. And then Bill Ewell was one of our guest mycologists right here, and he's quite a treat to have. And he led an invertebrate investigation, and those are some of his hand drawings, and they had a lot of fun. And then there's Saranella's, one of the pieces from Saranella's nature jewelry workshops. And then we had several other workshops there. Tom and Cindy and Mitch put on a cooking workshop. And what else do we have? Medicinals was Jared, did that on Friday. And so it's a lot of fun. We'll have new ones next year.
Mushroom ID was Megan.
Yes. She's not here, so.
Her spirit lingers. I cannot live without her.
All right, carry on. And then Cordyceps sinensis. This is Megan. So I did acknowledge Megan. She is here in spirit. So she's been our MC for our talent show / costume show for the past 3 years. And this was amazing because this thing, the fungus, this is the caterpillar here. It came out of her. It grew. It just grew. So she put a lot of work into that. So she had a great costume there. And it's Chris, right? And yeah. And your whole gang there you are right there to see. They did a great skit there. And there's Elise and Angelina, I think, doing a skit. And then I think that's my wife there in the red hat. Supposed to be an Amanita. And one of my best friends, Shannon, being a destroying angel. So this is a hoot. So if you just go for the talent show, it's worth it, in my opinion. All right, carry on. And this is our last day with all of our spread out on the tables. And that's Bill Ewell giving a final walkthrough of the mushrooms we found. So it was a really good display considering a very dry year. And that kind of says, I don't need to say anything about that. It's just amazing. And final picture. You might have heard this today. I think this might be the last time I'll pitch. We'll pitch it for today, but put it in your calendar. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Remote, did you put it in your pocket or something? I thought I handed it to you. Yep, there it is. Okay. Okay, I think Alan was going to tell us about some of the money the club has been putting, moving around to good reasons.
Thank you, Tom. It was almost a year ago that we started this. April and I and Aaron Hoffman put together a request for proposals for grants for community involvement with a focus on cultivation. And we had 10 really well-developed proposals that came in. A couple were a little bit out of our scope and we wish them well. But we did end up providing valuable resources so that people and organizations that are on the left could further their projects, specifically on how cultivation can help communities and what the education of that would also look like. So we're going to invite Felipe Martin from All Caps Cultivation to come up and give us a short discussion about what he did with our money. And Felipe will be followed by Alex Moss, and will tell us not just about her project, but about what's going on with Fox Haven Farms too. So Felipe.
In view. Hi, I'm Felipe. I'm founder of All Caps Farm. We're a small mushroom farm based out of Rockville, Maryland. We mostly sell mushrooms to restaurants and to retail customers. We're in a bunch of farmers markets. But throughout my journey of founding All Caps, I ran into 3 other partners, Tati, Dani, and Aya, and we founded DMA, which is Developments in Mycelium Applications. And that's actually what we ended up using the grant money for, was to pay honorariums and development of the curriculum, which we, in hand with a nonprofit in New York, developed a curriculum based off of presentations off of different speakers all throughout the world. We invited them in. It was a 4-day seminar with projects and questions and live viewings. And that went on for about 4 days. And we ended up using that money directly to pay their small honorarium. So without that, we all had to pay out of pocket. So it was a great boost, even $500. Any questions on developments of mycelium applications? Yeah, that was for anything else? Questions?
You're going to be at the fair.
Oh yes, I'm gonna be at the mushroom fair. Yeah, MAW's Mushroom Fair. We do cooking classes, cultivation courses. We're gonna run a second iteration of DMA next year. Hopefully, I actually attended the presentation Eugenia Bone did here, and I asked her if she wanted to potentially be part of that, and she showed interest, so maybe she's part of it. And my goal with DMA is to eventually bring that work to the area. So we're developing a enrichment program with a Bethesda school called Norwood to teach 4th graders about mushrooms and mycelium. And that might be launching next semester or in 2 weeks. We're right in the midst of it. So the goal would be to collaborate with community centers like this and other schools in the area, in the DMV, to teach about mycelium. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And Alex, come on down.
And I'm putting her on the spot because I told her that, oh, you won't have to say anything. And then we had Isaac who was supposed to come and somehow is not here.
I'm happy to speak. Thank you all for inviting me here. This is my first time at a MAW meeting, but also just really excited to see all these wonderful mushroom lovers in one room. I work at Fox Haven Farm. I'm the marketing and events director. And we created a program called the Fungus Among Us program.
It's all about fungi education and a lot of hands-on opportunities. We work with the fantastical Jared Urchek, and we start out in March, and we take a break in the summertime, and then we go back into the fall when mushrooms are really starting to be pumping out. We just had our mushroom foray, which was tree ID focused, but we also got to collect so many honey mushrooms, and there were lots of um, all types of things that we saw. So we start the year with an introduction, how to use a field guide, talking about the different shapes and different types of mushroom classifications. And then we go into toxic lookalikes and common mushrooms you'll see around here, just trying to really build that foundation. We get a lot of newbies who come to Foxhaven who really just are starting at a base level knowledge. So this is just trying to build their confidence around mushrooms and foraging. And then we do a cooking workshop where we make lion's mane crab cakes and an oyster pasta dish, fettuccine. And then we just did this tree ID for mushroomers. And then the next ones will be tincture making and growing mushrooms. So everybody gets at the end gets to take home their own grow kit. So hopefully people will be able to take that knowledge into the world and share with their friends that knowledge and kind of like a mycelial network grow this community. We actually do have one of our participants here who this award helped to fund participation for. So we have Amari. If you want to share anything, you're welcome to. But I also feel like I've talked quite a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Foxhaven. So we are an herb farm in Jefferson, Maryland. And April has been there and taken one of our foraging series as well. We really are just trying to build connections to nature. There's so much disconnection nowadays that people don't really know what's growing outside of their doors. So part of our mission is to help bring that back. And we do that through foraging, which is one of the most popular topics for people. It's just people really want to get out there and see the world. So, yeah, you want to share anything, Amari?
Yeah, just thank you for letting this be possible. I came into the class, I didn't have a lot of, or came into the series, so we did a bunch of different classes so far, but I came into the series not having any knowledge of mushrooms and a little bit scared of mushrooms and the idea of mushrooms, but I've definitely come around to the idea and gotten a lot more comfortable with IDing mushrooms and learning about them and all their medicinal properties of mushrooms. And yeah, I'm really excited about mushrooms, and I hope to take this knowledge and just sort of expand on it. So yeah, thank you.
That'll be to be.
Oh, yeah. And I work at an apiary out in Gwen Oaks, near Baltimore, as a beekeeper. And we do have a lot of acres of space that we'd love to sort of start some programming out there to carry on out there and bring to our community out in the Baltimore area. So yeah, thank you.
So much. Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly say that I'll look over at my treasurer, that next year we would also like to have a community focused grant program. And Matt's kind of saying, well, maybe. But I think that we can probably do this, and we may want to look for some ideas about what would be a theme for something like that. Okay, just congratulations to all the awardees, and thank you.
Okay. Next slide is just highlighting what we've already talked about again for the future mushroom capital of the world, Mount Rainier Nature Center. And now we'll move on to fungi in the news. Before I move on to the next slide, though, I just absolutely love that lichen that we have on the right-hand side. That is a basidiomycete lichen. And now basidiomycete lichens are extremely rare. Less than 1% of all lichens are basidiomycetes. And maybe this is a call for more conservation to some of you out there. There is only one known lichen in history that had psilocybin in it. It was found in the Ecuadorian Amazon. It was identified and logged by the great lichenologist at Smithsonian. His name was Mason Hale. And it had psilocybin in it. The Guarani native peoples of the Amazon, their shamans would use that in their practices, and no one has ever found it since. So, you know, when we talk about conservation, that's a real world example of it. I'm actually going to do the next slide first and come back to this one. Okay, so Britt Bunyard's, I don't know where he is, but his ears should be burning today, and maybe he ought to be paying me for all the promotion I'm doing for him. His latest edition of his magazine, Fungi, you see it down in the bottom right. It's called, it focuses on preservation, and he has an article in there that I've found to be very, very compelling. So the name of the article is Revisiting the Mother Tree by Britt Bunyard. And the Mother Tree alludes to a book that was really quite a bestseller, maybe about a half dozen years ago, written by a Canadian scientist by the name of Susan Simard. And she's absolutely fantastic. She did a talk about this book for our club, a program for us. And if you know anything about Susan Simard, she is very reluctant to do presentations. Very reluctant to do presentations. But I was the program chair at the time, and I don't have a problem with rejection. So I wrote her one flowery email after another, telling her how wonderful she was and how much we would love to hear from her, until she finally relented and said, yes, I will do that for you. She probably thought I wanted to take her out on a date. And that was our most populous program ever. At the time, we had a Zoom account that went up to 500 people. We went to 500 people. So who knows how many people wanted to log in. This is also a plug for our YouTube channel. We have the recordings of our monthly meeting content ends up on our YouTube channel. And if you go there, you might want to just make sure you don't have anything else scheduled for the rest of the afternoon, because you can go down a deep hole in that we have content on everything, including Suzanne's presentation. The premise of this book is that the underground mycorrhizal relationships that you find in nature, they form a connection between especially the trees, and that there is carbon sharing between the trees, basically painting nature as being very benevolent, where you have the more mature trees, the AKA mother trees, are helping to nourish the next generation of trees. And she draws a lot of parallels in that book to her own life, own family life. So if you never read that book, I would highly recommend it. It's a great read. But in the article in Fungi magazine, Britt alludes to some of the ongoing research that's been done on mycorrhizal networks in the years since then. And they've really started to reel back the magnitude of that. And they believe that there are several studies out now that think the carbon exchange that is happening from one individual tree to another isn't quite nearly to the scale that they had originally thought that it was. But he has another great study that he alludes to in there. And one of my other things I'm fascinated is by our orchids. And he claims in that article that the true mother tree was actually an orchid. It's this one in the upper right. It's the second most common orchid that we find around here. It's called the rattlesnake plantain orchid. Now, this is an evergreen orchid. Not a lot of orchids are evergreen, and it has mycorrhizal relationships. All orchids have mycorrhizal relationships. Orchids cannot germinate until a fungi, basically an opportunistic fungi, tries to invade the orchid seed, and the orchid is able to essentially parasitize nutrition from them. And in this article, though, what he is finding out is that the fungi that are in a symbiotic relationship with this individual orchid, each of those clusters of leaves is an individual, that this is a mother tree situation where the carbon that is being generated by photosynthesis from one individual rattlesnake plantain orchid is showing up in other ones. So this is kind of new and exciting science. The so this is it's a really compelling read, and it does make you go back and kind of question the idea of this benevolent kind of anthropomorphized relationship that we have with how nature operates after the mother tree was published. Okay. Now, I love this story. This is comes to us from the Colorado Sun. There are a number of states out there that now have a state mushroom, and Colorado is the most recent one to vote on having a state mushroom. What they voted on was this Agaricus julius. Its common name is the emperor. And the heartwarming part about this is this high school history teacher, what was his name? Greg Sanchez. He also taught a public policy class, and he inspired his students to take the lead on their advocacy to get a state mushroom for Colorado. And they were the ones who really shepherded this through the state assembly. They were the ones who went there, pitched the case to the representatives, and just recently, the Colorado governor, you can see in that photo right there, he's surrounded by some of those high school students where he signed the bill into law. This is one of the things that we'll probably take up in the December board meeting. Is I've been an advocate of getting a state mushroom for Maryland, and someday maybe followed by Washington, D.C. and Virginia too. So we have a couple of ideas that we're bouncing around. So who knows? Someday you might see your MAW DC board in a photo like that.
Or three.
Or three. All right. So this is a little bit change of pace. I decided to add this in. So Bowling Alone was an excellent nonfiction book that was first published back in the 1990s by a Harvard professor by the name of Robert Putnam. And then an updated version of it was released just within the last couple of years, and Netflix followed up by doing a documentary on it. So the premise of the book is about the erosion of civic organizations in American society. So you think about it for your parents or your grandparents' generations. There were a lot of civic organizations out there. There were church groups. There were Shriners clubs. There were Rotary clubs. There was a club for everything out there. But what this Harvard professor had found out that over the last several decades, you see a lot of these civic organizations have fallen on hard times and have eroded away or had to close up. They just don't have the interest anymore. And the sad part about this is that whenever civic organizations don't exist, I think, and this is his claim too, that is detrimental to social cohesion. Because whenever your neighbors become an abstract concept, well, you just don't care that much about abstraction. Uh-oh.
I like expected.
Updates on the right. Why would it? Why would it just?
That's okay.
Is this like they're like something over?
Right now.
Perfect. I remember getting an email saying that everyone's gonna update, so just get on.
I mean, sometimes we plan and sometimes the universe has other
Alright. Maybe this is.
plans. So yes,
Time for an intermission.
ah,
Let's reconvene.
You wanna go to the end of your song?
What's that?
End of, you have to finish that, on the boat.
I know, but it's only 7%, so yeah, there's a couple more slides. Let's return to this and let's shoot for 10 minutes. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Wait for me. 10 minutes. Thank you.
you can take it to introduce the tea and
I was gonna say maybe you had a connection for a phone and bring up the presentation, but HDMI, yeah.
fine.
Our guest speaker today has generously brought Chaga tea with her. If you haven't tried it, or even if you have, please feel free.
I mean, you do still have a microphone that works though.
That's okay. He's updating.
Here too. Or else it's just gonna be like rustling.
It's great, this is great.
It had to be when I'm in the bathroom, so I cannot stop it.
It just happened.
It just happened, there was
It's-
no.
Yes, there was no indication that it's about to happen.
Did you ignore it for long enough? Did the alcohol
No.
just, like pop up in the corner?
I wonder if this is a commission thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Cause I got an email.
Government landlords taking care of my computer.
'Cause I know they've been doing all these updates to my system. So I'm just.
Yes.
How do we join? Since I wanted to join just to hear the level.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Now charge my phone. So it's-
eh,
I got my charger.
Yeah,
But I didn't see an email or anything. Like the.
no, because I just started it. We didn't publicize that it was gonna be hybrid,
Oh,
just in case,
they're working about that.
it got messed up.
All right, well, maybe I could grab that. Let me grab a charger though.
Yeah.
Like, that's like that. She was with 10%. Just in case I made it.
Okay, cool.
Did you ever think about putting a mister over the moss to keep the moss in your swamp?
Yes, we can talk about that after.
I just was looking at it, and it's some parts are found the moss is drying out on the top.
No, yes, we can talk about that after, because there are several layers going on there.
I got you.
You ready to go then? All right. We are all slaves to technology.
Sorry, thank you.
So, just a quick recap of what I was talking about a minute ago. According to this novel, Bowling Alone, we have been losing steadily civic organizations in our society. An erosion of, that probably affects the fabric of our American society as we know our neighbors less and less. So I kind of took this as an idea that we need to really celebrate this civic organization, MAW DC, because we have been around for a very, very long time. And I feel the club just continues to grow in strength. We are one of the most active mushroom clubs that there are. We have so many events, as you noticed earlier, and our membership is very healthy. To that effect, MAW DC, and maybe somebody like Ray or one of the other fellows could fill in the blanks on this. I know we have been around for over 40 years because we've been going to Sequanota for approximately 40 years. So I think the club probably started sometime in the mid to early 70s. 60s, even more so. But that's something to be celebrated. And if you want to think of it, that in this context, there was another mushroom club in Washington from 1897 to 1901. So this is an area that's had a long connection with mycological studies. The other thing, our club membership is very healthy. We have over 600 paying members at the moment. You know, and that is a number historically that has gone up a lot. So I'm very proud of this civic organization. But, you know, it takes a very good team in order to achieve these sorts of things. So I wanted to first just highlight that the current board, you've met quite a few of these people already. Of course, I'm at the top of the list is President April, and is our Vice President Matt. We've met before, talked about Sequanota. I don't think I mentioned Mitch before, but he has been our 4-H chair as well as a couple of other positions on the board for over 2 decades. Every time that I need a mushroom identified, you hear me say, Mitch, any thoughts on this? Which happens a lot. Tom Moore is an exceptional membership chair. He wasn't able to make it today because he's a little bit under the weather. And he actually has a connection to our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is a member of the New York Mycological Society. And Tom Moore made one of our, in my opinion, best programs about the founder of the New York Mycological Society, John Cage, who was an avant-garde composer. And that is well worth your time to go on our YouTube channel and look at it. Alan Perper is a new member of the board this year, and I hope he intends to stay on the board for many, many more years yet to come. He has just been a wonderful asset to have. Cindy Ryan is right there. She is our culinary chair. She does an absolutely wonderful job. You can big round of applause. She's the one who put together that. And if our guest speaker Sneha needs any help with her presentation, she can turn to Cindy because she's an expert in color pigments as well. Martin Levinci is our NAMA trustee, and he is where he's supposed to be this weekend at NAMA's or and then Megan Romberg, she wasn't able to join us today. She is our science advisor, and she's the one who was dressed up like that caterpillar fungus a few slides ago. And then, of course, my great Michael Omega, Saranella, right here. I also wanted to highlight some of the past presidents that we've had in the club. Obviously, it takes a great team in order to achieve the things that we've been able to achieve. The lady that I took over the presidency from, Elizabeth, she's in the back of the room. She was an outstanding president of MAW DC, but she's probably even more famous for being a board game designer. And this is her latest iteration of board games. It's called Undergrove. I'm not much into board games myself, but if you are, I think you ought to come here for the Undergrove party in just a week or two. And then she took over the presidency from William Needham, who, in my opinion, was the epitome of what a club president should be. He did it for 5 continuous years, and I consider his performance to be impeccable. And then Mitch, also, when he wasn't 4-H chair, he took a turn as a club president. And he didn't care for it, so he went back to 4-H chair. And then Bruce Boyer. There's Bruce. Yes. talked to Bruce yesterday and a bit more today. He is a past club president, and he's been a little bit of everything for the club. Three times president. 3 times president. And you joined the club in about the mid '80s, I think.
Way back there.
Way back.
The third Sequinota, I think.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Well, quick round of applause for all of them. Thank you so much. And then after that, we had Ray LaSala. You probably have had multiple turns as president in the club too, haven't you, Ray? You
No,
have
just one term at multiple years,
one term, multiple years.
but I've held just about every other position on the board.
I think so. And excuse me.
But he started Sequinota.
Yes, yes. So I need to get this. I'll put you on the spot, Ray, but to my understanding, back in the early mid '80s, you were cross-country skiing in the Laurel Highlands.
Correct.
And that is how you came across the place that we have been holding Sequinota ever since. And you just looked at it and said, man, this is a great mushrooming area. And even though it's 3.5 hours away from DC, this will make a great place for a weekend foray. And it is. And everybody who goes there, well, I would just say, thank you for coming up with that. I love it every year. Okay. Yeah, round of applause for Ray. The next couple of names are foreign to me. I have never met these small members. They preceded my time with the club, but in my conversation with Bruce yesterday, I wanted to add them to the list because they also did serve as past presidents. And I just have, for the last name on there, Jeff Long. So I just met him for the first time today, but I have known of his name for a very long time. So Jeff is a past club president and somewhat of a legend for his years where he was attending Sequinota, because Jeff, as my understanding, just for you to verify, you like fine wine and fine food, and you were very generous with that. And for the other attendees of Sequinota back in those days.
Focused on the culinary.
Focused on the
Most of the time.
A lot of partners attending an event. We do programs for food. That's what we did.
Wonderful. My only regret is I wasn't a member of the club back then. So some of these names are going to be present on this list as well. This is basically the best honorific that we can give to someone in the club who has shown extraordinary amounts of volunteerism. And when I say volunteerism, let me wrap some context around that. I, like everybody else on the board, we pay our membership dues. We pay to attend Sequinota the same as everybody else. You don't get any sort of reward, financial reward, for the amount of volunteer hours that you put into this. So with that said, but we all do it because we just love our fifth kingdom and we love this civic organization, and this is what powers us forward. So a lifetime membership is something that we bestow on somebody who has made a great contribution over many years to the club's benefit. So a few of these members, the first couple have since passed away. John Elfritz was 4A chair here for, I don't know, like centuries, I think. He was forever the 4A chair. And then Karen Adams was a lady from Scandinavia that was in charge of our hospitality and just always showed up at club events for many, many years and always very helpful. Sam Ristic, this was a new one for me. I got this in my conversation with Bruce yesterday. Sam Ristic is quite a famous professional mycologist. The MEMP 4A that I was talking about before is named the Sam Ristic 4A. So, you know, he was he was quite a force in this space. And he was apparently one of the founding members of the club and voted to be a lifetime member. So thank you for that. That's new information for me. I didn't know the next person, Orson Miller, but Bruce mentioned that he was like with other lifetime member as well. But now I wanted to move on to the next group. So, in life, there's just some people, as soon as you meet them, you're just fast friends. So the next name on there is Connie Durham, and she was good enough to come out and meet us today. They came in. There are a couple of conditions on the board. She was very generous and hospitable with the use of her place. We had many board meetings at her home, her beautiful home in Washington, D.C. Those board meetings usually, if you could have read my mind during them, I was wishing that the other board members would just shut up so we could finally go home, because these things drag on for a long time. But in the end, we always had great fun. So thank you for that, Connie, and it's really good to see you. And then right below is Albert Casiero. Albert is another one of the longtime members, a lifetime member. And I put this on the screen today, the logo, because Albert is a very talented artist, and he is the person who came up with the original MAW DC logo. Albert is also a sensational cook. I talked him into giving us a short presentation on Zoom about how to cook morels several years ago that went exceedingly well. He also used to write a column for Fungi magazine. I think it was called The Wild Epicure or The Fungal Gourmet. The Wild Epicure. And he used to run a business where he would host tours to various locations, primarily Italy, in Europe, that were based on mycology, especially mycophagy, the eating of well-cooked mushrooms. And perhaps drinking red wine. I just mentioned Jeff Long before. He's also a lifetime member, and his great contributions to Sequinota. Judy Roberts is somebody who became a lifetime member several decades ago. Another person I've never met personally. She moved away from DC 26 years ago. She sent me an email whenever I was trying to organize this today. And it was very interesting because she was the membership chair back then. And she told me in her email that the membership in her time was only 60 members. Now we're 600 plus strong. So we're doing okay. You have something you want to add, Bruce?
Jeff Long was the president that actually established MAW as an organization that was legally supported in DC and as a nonprofit situation.
Wonderful.
I'm a retired attorney.
Well, round of applause. So moving on from there, we just mentioned Bruce Boyer a second ago and all of his many accomplishments with the club. And this brings me to my next point of order. So I nominated someone from the last slide, William Needham, to become a lifetime member. As I said at that time, he was an impeccable president. He was tireless for 5 straight years. And believe me, there's a lot of volunteer hours doing this type of work. And I feel that his level of commitment, dedication, and just overall organizational skills are more than deserving for him to become a lifetime member. And the board agreed with me on that. Unfortunately, William wasn't able to make it with us today, but so we can add his name to this list as well. And And one more, and I nominated a second person to become lifetime member, and I can think of no one who is more deserving. He has been 4-H chair for more than 20 years and given so much of his time to this club. So not only is he a excellent, one of the best 4-H leaders that you will ever have, a superb taxonomist and identifier of mushrooms, but he is also going to give our guest speaker today a run for her money, because he is a wonderful tie-dye artist as well. He made this for me. That is a big round of applause for our newest lifetime member, Mitch Fournette.
Old now, bitch.
Yeah. That's it for me. I think we can move right into the movie now, right?
In the interest of time, I would rather have, first of all, 2 minutes to talk about the research scholarships on behalf of the scholarship committee.
Turn on.
Thank you. All right, so part of our mission as the Mycological Association of Washington, D.C. is to contribute to the mycological knowledge that exists and to the development of the young minds that are out there trying to develop themselves and go to school and to graduate school. So we are encouraging everybody to spread the word that we have grants or scholarships for research projects that need a little bit of an in for materials or sequencing process. We have a number of scholarships available. The deadline is going to be in October, so this needs to spread around quickly. If you know of a student that is doing mycological research, please send them to our website under scholarships so they can fill out the application. And we also have every year spots to cover the registration for the Sigma Nora 4A. Here we have one of the Sigma Nora 4A recipients. I'm gonna ask her to stand up so people can recognize her. Her name is Jennifer Pfizer. She is definitely an up-and-coming person in the world of mycology and responsible for about half of our 2,000 and plus collection specimens right across the courtyard. So thank you, Jennifer. Spread the word. We really want to support the young minds that are coming up and contributing to science. Thank you.
We're going straight into feature presentation.
Yes, please.
So in the sake of time, I appreciate all your patience today. We're going to move straight into our feature presentation now. We did have a movie planned, but we're running a little bit over. So
the director made an executive decision.
Bring this up on my screen. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce Sneha Ganguly. Off to my right over here, you guys have been sampling or Chagati. The name that she goes professionally as an artist is Cali Mushrooms, and where she's an interdisciplinary artist who is interested in identifying and studying wild fungi, making botanical materials and pigments such as mushroom paper, etc., and the potential of mushroom mycelium-based materials as a creative medium. She is part of the New York Mycological Society, and she teaches courses on applied mycology and mushroom cultivation for Cornell Small Farms. That would be associated with Cornell University. I am thrilled to hear this presentation tonight because she's going to be talking about fungal pigments. And you probably, if you know anything about lichens, you know that that is going to be a featured part of this talk. Big warm welcome for Sneela and